students, welcome to Unit 10's Instructor Recording. I just want to give you some background on what to expect in this particular unit. Just so you know, we are in home stretch. We just have a few more units left and then we're done. But the biggest part of this course is the financial literacy assignment. This is your way of showing me that you know how to deal with budgets. You know how to break down your own income to make sure that you've covered all of your expenses. See, the thing is about income, with income there's always expenses. Expenses are considered as deductions. And with those deductions, they have to be covered every single month. So I am looking at, of course, our course where it says financial literacy assignment. In addition to the other videos that you have to watch this week, I recommend that you watch this financial literacy assignment video more than once, because I want to ensure that you are clear on what to include in this assignment. So these are the guidelines. I wanted to make sure I brought this up in this video so that way there will be no confusion on what to submit. It says in this assignment you will create a budget based on your projected income after graduation as a licensed RN. It is up to you to research based on what type of nurse you would like to be. The research, there are actually websites in this Unit 10 module. So there's websites that you can look up income for your particular field as a licensed RN. It says you will have to research the starting salary based on your credentials in the area that you reside in. So if you live in Minnesota, you would have to look up the actual amount of money that you'd make as a licensed RN in Minnesota. If you live in Kentucky, you would have to look up the actual amount that you would make starting salary as a nurse in Kentucky. So whatever state you live in, please identify that state as well as where you got your research from as it relates to the state you live in. Also, since we're on where to find this research, let me just skip down real quick. I'll go through everything in just a moment. There needs to be an APA citation on where you received your research for your starting salary. You do need to pull out your APA manual. It can't just be put in there any kind of way. It has to be an APA citation, okay? You can also look on salary.com and payscale.com for salary information based on your particular area as a licensed RN in a particular state. Governmental facilities tend to pay differently, so you may have to look on a different website for that. You can also type in your particular field of study state in Google, and it will be able to pull out a amount for you. Also, I recommend if you are looking for an academic position in RN or even a regular RN position, I would look on Indeed.com, Indeed.com, and you can type in the type of nurse you'd like to be and the state, and it will also bring up salaries for particular positions. So in this assignment, this is what needs to be included. This is a checklist. Housing and living. Of course, we all know that unless we plan to live with mom and dad, we will have to pay our own housing and living expenses. So whether you plan to rent an apartment or get a home, which includes a mortgage, for most rental agreements, they pay some utilities, but not all. But for mortgages, you will end up paying all utilities and maintenance. So this is the first category, housing and living expenses. It would be helpful if you could put all of this in an Excel template so that way you don't forget what to include. Food. Again, unless you plan to go to mom and dad's house every day, you will need food. So you have to decide on how much you'll spend on food each month. Okay? Student loan payments. If you happen to come out with student loan payments, that amount will need to be deducted from your income every single month. Transportation. Even if you plan to take the bus, there is still a transportation fee to ride the bus. And if you plan to have a vehicle, there's transportation costs, which is monthly car note. That also equates into insurance and any other repairs that you may have to cover for that month. Child care. If you happen to have children, child care is essential. If you are not sure how much it costs, go online and find out how much does it cost to put one child in daycare for 5 days. Because more than likely, being an RN, you're either going to work 5 days, you may choose to work 7 days. We never know. But for however many days you choose to work, you will need child care for those days. Credit card or other debt. My hope is that you may not have a whole lot of credit card debt because you have to remember you already have student loan payments coming out if that is your particular scenario. But credit card payments they may not always be the same rate every single month. So you have to plan in your budget that what if my credit card interest rate jumps sky high? I still need to be able to pay this credit card payment. So you have to put aside additional money in order to go forward and pay that credit card every single month, even if it decides to skyrocket. Okay? Car loan goes along with transportation. If you happen to have a car loan, of course, that'll be monthly payments. So for transportation, if you'd like, you could say that that is gas. You can say that that is car insurance. For car loan, you can say that is the amount that the loan is for the car that you have or the car that you plan to purchase. Continuous medical expenses, of course, this is whatever your insurance does not cover. Of course, that will have to come out of your pocket. Even if you have insurance, there's still a copay of some sort, so that will need to be included. If you happen to need to get an annual exam, or say you hurt your arm and you have to go and see a doctor, or maybe one of your children may get hurt, that has to be a continuous medical expense because you never know how often you'll need it. For emergency savings, I always call that the rainy day fund. You should always have at least 6 months saved, at the very least 4 months in the event something happens to your current position. Your emergency savings is something that should be put in, if not every 2 weeks, once a month. And this money is money that you will not touch throughout the month. This is money that you'll put up in the event something occurs at work, or if you happen to need to get another car, or if you happen to need to move or something happens to your apartment. That's your emergency savings. Your retirement savings, this is your savings that you'll have when you retire. And again, this is untouched money. If it's marked retirement savings, you should not be touching it monthly. It should be put up in a nest egg, either an IRA or a 401k, to prepare for your future retirement. Now, we all have long-term goals that we want to have. One of my long-term goals is buying a home. So if you have a long-term goal of buying a home, a new car, or even pursuing more education, whether in the form of a bachelor's or master's, whatever you'd like to pursue, of course that will be a monetary value. So whichever of these things you'd like to pursue, if you'd like to pursue all three, that would be fine. But long-term goal savings mean you're putting something away each month. Again, this is also untouched money. So if you're going to put it away, make sure that when you put it away, that you do not intend to touch it until you have reached your goal and it's time to pull it out in order to buy a home, a new car, or pursue more education. Discretionary spending. You could also call that miscellaneous expense. These are expenses that you have that are random experiences or random expenses, such as eating out, entertainment, shopping, hair appointments, meeting up with friends. But this discretionary spending should not be higher than any of your other bills. If you happen to say, hey, I'm going to put aside maybe $30 and once a month go out and have a good time with friends, that's fine. But you won't be able to do $30 every single week. That just won't happen. What I tend to do, I tend to set aside between $50 and $75 a month, just discretionary spending. This is $50 to $75 that I can go to eat, or I can go shopping, or go to the movies. That's something that occurs randomly, but I have budgeted for it. So I'm not taking from any of these bills in order to accommodate discretionary spending. So you have to always be mindful of this, because if your discretionary spending gets out of control, you won't have enough to pay all your other bills. Okay? It also says after you gather information with your stated income, I'm actually going to show you a chart that you can use as well. After you gather your income and anticipated location that you'd like to live based on completing your degree and becoming a licensed RN, and your estimated expenses, you have to display your budget in a graphical representation for optimal presentation. That means I do not want to see you submit something that is handwritten. This should be typed, as this is a professional assignment. This should be typed. So All of this information can be included either through a chart, a graph, or a table, okay? I tend to look at charts and tables as one and the same, but only one graphical representation is necessary, okay? However, I do need to see a listing of all of these expenses. As it relates to your starting salary, I need to see an APA citation of this. I need to make sure that you have done your research on your salary. You have identified all of your potential expenses. These are grading areas. So salary research, identify potential expenses. Your calculation needs to be very accurate. I can tell when students submit work and it's a little inflated for an amount. Please make sure that your amounts are accurate. And lastly, an APA citation. You have to make sure that your APA book is nearby because you do need to submit an APA citation for your sources, especially where you got your research. And if you want to include an APA citation for any other research that you found as it relates to this assignment, feel free to do so. Okay? Here is what a circle graph looks like, or a pie chart. If you happen to put your expenses on the side in a chart or table, and you happen to say, hey, I've looked at all of my expenses, and this is what percentage I'm spending on each item, your pie chart would look similar to this. Okay? This person has housing as their largest expense, which is 28% of their income. Their daily spending is actually pretty high. It's 20%. Their debt is 8%. That's actually pretty good. Insurance of any kind, whether it's health insurance, life insurance, car insurance, is 9%. They have set aside 10% of their income every single month to go to retirement. Other savings is their discretionary. This is either savings for the home, the car, or education. And this other savings is a good place for untouched money. And of course, taxes. So your daily spending is discretionary. So if you'd like to submit a pie chart such as this, that would work as well. But I do still need to see a list of your expenses. So at the top should be your income, your expenses, and what's left. Okay? Let's look at something. Here's a budget. And this is actually from Frugal Fanatic. Let me show you the website for it. It's frugalfanatic.com/free monthly budget template. So I'm using this actual template, and you can there's actually quite a few here that you can use. All right. So this is the budget that I'm using. Give me just a moment. My computer's acting funny. Okay. All right. So for monthly budget, I have decided that my income will be $50,000, rough estimate, coming out of school for a particular career, which is teaching math. Okay. And I've looked online. I actually looked on Indeed.com. And saw that this is the pretty much start out salary for a lot of mathematics teachers. Or you could even say mathematics professors. But for the sake of this project, I'm going to use Online Math Instructor. Okay? Other income will be $5,000 for me because we call it freelance teaching. Okay? Nothing wrong with having additional cash. So, basically, I have my $50,000 income, and of course this is fictional. I have my $50,000 income. I have $5,000 that I have for freelance teaching. And $55,000 is my yearly income. So I have $55,000 that I can get used to for every single month. Okay? Now, let me bring up my calculator. There are quite a few icons open here. $55,000. Let's bring up the calculator. So for expenses, I would like, and of course these expenses are on a monthly basis, so 55,000. Let's divide that by 12, so we'll know how much to look at. This is 4583.33. I'm thinking, okay, if a person is the only one in their household, it's a high likelihood that they may come home with, say, less taxes, maybe $3,800. So I'll just put $3,800 a month here. Alright, so I got $3,800 a month to work with. So my mortgage or my rent is $800 a month. Now, just so you know, 55,000 I divided by 12. I took out $700 for taxes. That automatically comes out of payroll. So $800 is my mortgage, rent, household maintenance. So far, only thing I need for household maintenance in terms of, let's make it $10. Taxes. Guess we can put that back in there. We can make this $45.83 a month, and then we'll just take out $700. Even though the employer automatically takes it out, we're just going to put it in the budget anyway. For insurance, let's say insurance is about $30 a month, and that is life insurance, hoping that the job covers insurance. So if the job covers insurance, we'll just do this for life insurance. And electricity. For my apartment, electricity is currently covered, and so is water, and so is sewage. Now, how often does it happen? Probably not often at all. Gas. Alright, now this is where the real expenses come in. If you live close by, you probably won't spend a lot in gas. If you have to drive a long ways to work, you will need a lot of gas. So I'm going to put for gas $100, and that includes going and coming from work, going and coming to run errands, groceries, meet friends, all that good business. Alright, for the phone, my current phone bill is $86. Your phone bill may be a tad different, okay? For trash, we'll say that's $20 a month. For cable, I'm going to use an actual cable amount. $118 is my cable, okay? Now, you notice we have phone and we have cell phone. You can choose one or the other or both. I have a cell phone, and that is $86. If I chose to have a regular phone, that would probably be an additional $20 on top of my cable because I bundle. Groceries is about $100 a month. Entertainment, I'm going to say $30 for this month because, number one, I've already checked to see what movies are coming out, and I may not want to go see those. But I do want to go and eat at some point, if I want to go out and eat. So I give myself a budget of $30. Now, charity, donations, if you plan to give money to your church or something like that, that will fall under charity and donation. So I would say maybe $400. Gas, here is gas for your home, and this is fuel for your car. So I'm going to say that's about $100. Auto insurance, if you pay it once a month, you can put it here. If you pay it every 6 months, and say you save up for every 6 months, you pay it and then you save another 6 months, then you don't have to put it right here. If you automatically do it. So I'll put here automatic. Okay? Car payment. However much your car payment is, that would go here. Say you have a car that's $250 a month. You put that there. Child care, $0 for 0 kids. Credit cards. If you have credit cards, you would put that in this particular area, because you would definitely need to pay a certain amount every single month, and put aside certain money in order, even if the credit card decides to skyrocket. Okay? So I'm going to put $0. Now, loans. Any loans that you have, that would include student loans. Student loans would go here. Okay? Whatever monthly payment you're paying for loans goes here. So you can put $0 there, you can put $100 there, however much you want to put for your student loan. If you happen to be paying child support, you can put it here, or you can type in automatic. You can do that as well. If it's automatically coming out of your check, you can type automatic. Okay? And clothing. I'll say 30. Because I think that you should treat yourself sometimes. Okay? Any savings needs to go here. Okay? College, retirement, we did talk about retirement on the previous slide. Any college, any basics, whatever you have should be put up. And if your job has a retirement plan, then you can put here automatic. Okay? If your job pays for college, for example, if you happen to work for an education institution, it'll automatically pay for your college in some kind of way. If not, then that amount would need to be put in this area. If you'd like to do, say, basic savings, then that amount would go here. So let's look at how much we have so far. Let's see, for savings, let's try to save maybe $200. Okay. Now, let's have a total. This is our amount that we're deducting from. So this is our income, and we're going to deduct all these expenses. Let's see what we come out with. 4583.0. All right, let's subtract 800. 700 plus 10, 710. Oh. 4583 minus 800 minus $10 minus 700 minus $30 minus 120, 40, 140. And we're up to trash. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Let's subtract 118, subtract 86, subtract 130 plus 400, that's 530, 630, minus 630. Automatic. Our payment is $250 minus $250 and minus 100. Oh, wait a minute, minus 30. At the end of the month, we now have $1,689 left. And this is where we started from. Remember, we started from $4,583. Taxes took $700 away from us. So we are now down to $1,689. Now, remember, we're trying to save $200 a month. How about we increase that to $300? We now have $1,389 left. And this is the end of the month. So we've accounted for all the bills, we've accounted for all the expenses, we've deducted our income from expenses, and we have $1,389 left. Now, don't get me wrong, that's a great deal of money. However, do not go really off the rims with $1,389, because this happens to be a month where nothing emergency happens. You notice here we don't have an emergency fund. We just have a savings. Okay? So if you'd like to write in an emergency fund, you can do so as well. But with this budget, the main goal was to show you that everything that we do every single month comes out of our income in some way, shape, or form. We can try to hide it. We can try to make it seem like it's not there, but it really is. All of your income that comes in, less taxes, there are expenses that have to be covered. So if you enjoy shopping, especially when you first come out of school, find a way to curb it. Because when you first come out of school, as you can see, there's quite a few titles here. If your apartment doesn't pay for your electricity, water, sewage, and gas, that comes out of your pocket. And fortunately enough, I happen to live in an apartment that pays for all of my electricity, all of my water, sewage, as well as gas. Every apartment's not like that. And if you have to pay those out of pocket, then that's another expense you have to include. If your job decides not to pay for your health insurance, you have to include your health insurance as well as your life insurance. And a lot of people feel that you shouldn't have life insurance because, oh, when it happens, it'll happen. No, do not leave that expense on your friends and relatives. Take out a certain amount for your life insurance. As far as your phone, this is if you choose to have a house phone. If you choose not to have a house phone, it's quite all right. It's okay. However, you need to have a phone of some sort for communication. So I would recommend a cell phone because that would be a way to save money on your phone bill. Currently, I bundle my cable and my internet. I don't believe internet was on here, but you can include it in with cable. And it's better to not have a house phone. So if you want to be mobile with your phone, it's better to just have the cell phone. Cable. A lot of people call that a luxury. But if you choose to have cable, be prepared for a bill. During the time that I was in school, which was years, I did not have cable because I felt that that was a luxury that I could not afford at the time. I have cable now. However, everybody may not have cable. Okay? You can also include your internet in with your cable. Your cell phone, check and look and see if you can find a cell phone that's more inexpensive, because when you come out of school, you're going to have all of that stuff coming at you at once. And you want to make sure that it's all manageable. And groceries. Of course, everybody's going to need groceries because we all need food. Entertainment. Find a way to curb that so that way it's not so much expensive. And if it is, you may have to cut some of these expenses to accommodate more entertainment. As for charity donations, you may decide you don't want to spend that amount of money. It's quite all right. But donations are a good way to have a tax write-off. Fuel, depending on where you choose to go, you will need gas. And there will be a certain amount that you'll need to get to work, to get back and forth from grocery shopping, to be with friends, or go visit your parents. You're going to need that. Your auto insurance, that is most times a separate expense, as well as your car payment. Child care if you need it, and credit cards, please manage to keep those to a minimum because your student loans will be another expense you'll have to pay. And lastly, clothing. So some of these expenses you'll need, some you won't. The main part is If you put it in your budget, you'll know where it is and where it's coming from. If you have any questions, if you have any other questions, let me know. Let's make this a great Unit 10.